Flipsides at work, at home, and at play. Sport bounces around new formats and old traps. The color bar spars with them all. Innovation with sports format is fun, keeps things fresh, sparks new vistas, but also the Winter Olympics is here. Ice, snow, mountains, but also Apple design is clean, intuitive, has a fine legacy, but also generative AI mock-ups, so real, so believable, but also the color bar, like that teammate who reads and watches a lot, so you don't have to. Energy and lethargy. I find myself frowning when I see sports being talked about the same way as, say, attention farming on Instagram. The conflation is frustrating, especially when it inserts itself into the thinking behind new formats or entire sports. I have nothing against experimentation and building new reasons for people to play, watch, or support physical activity, mind you. Where it rankles a bit is when these are grounded in beliefs like dwindling attention spans, or speed over substance, or all life should be based on principles gleaned from a decade of social media indicators. Okay, one of those might be made up. But then, once these are launched, and sometimes with care and merit for sure, once these are launched, too much of the early, even explosive success on social is counted as a meaningful sign of long term resonance. Virality is ephemeral. Social is a barometer of a day, a week, a month. We have snapshots, often useful, sometimes instructive, occasionally meaningful, but not simply by default representative of societal narratives or cultural journeys. So, we have now heard of the Baller League pausing operations in Germany, even though recent launches in other markets like the UK were based on replicating the success of the German model. Sure, the timing and crowded nature of that market is also a factor, but it is a reminder that even models with strong backing and attractive names are not assured of success. Across the fence, though, the Kings League just raised another chunk of cash. A quote: there are a dozen formats that flash bright, get very loud on social, and then quietly get folded. So when people in sports say, we just need a new format to capture youth attention, I hear, we want a growth hack that substitutes for long term habit. That's Michael Broughton, who recently penned a good insight on the learnings to be had from some of the sports formats or leagues that have attempted success in recent years. In spanning T20 to Spartan and Tough Mudder, he is net positive, while he outlines why contrived cool is a dangerous strategy. As is true for many consumer brands, sports that are primarily attached to personalities, not the actual product, are on shaky ground. In this celebrity and social led thinking, there sometimes seems to be a blurring of lines between good content and good sport. Yes, there are many linkages, but these are not interchangeable ideas. Talking of interchangeable, honey, I shrunk the tennis. If you doubted the appetite for new formats trying to muscle their way in, I present Tipty. This new racket game is presented as a mix of pickleball and tennis. Okay, right. Because clearly we need to find a new game that combines an existing sport with the hybrid sport that it inspired. Well, that's a mouthful. Apparently, because many tennis players look down upon pickleball, they do, Tipty has a good chance of wooing them over. So, because it's mini tennis, I guess? Tipty is played on a pickleball court, uses string rackets and foam balls, very much like tennis but smaller and lighter. You can watch what tennis looks like when shrunk at a link here. And in case you're still wondering, it gets its name from the belief that all brand names should be 5 letters and preferably meaningless. Yes, I linked to that nugget. Okay then. Tipty is launched by Tennis Channel founder Steve Bellamy, backed by Hotel Air, Tony Pritzker, motivational speaker Tony Robbins, and actor Chris Pine, among others. Curated Cuts, presenting an AI town. This is cheeky, cute, and meaningful, and should make us consider our next prompt. The town of Chilcura or Chilicura, I'm sure I'm butchering that pronunciation, in Chile, is home to many AI data centers and is facing a serious water crisis. Now, this spot announced that on the 31st of January, the townspeople themselves would become AI for the day in a symbolic bid to save their water. So, we were asked to kindly not use AI for, quote, dumb stuff. Naysayers might call this a bit gimmicky or question its real impact. But listen, I'm happy when creative is built to make us pause, take a moment, reconsider. If then we anyway go ahead and make a lame cartoon image of ourselves via a AI generator, so be it. Olympics. Another week, another Winter Olympic spot? Not quite. The twist in this one hits wonderfully the first time, early in the spot. And then it lets loose and drowns us quite literally in the metaphor. If you take a look at it, you'll know that using Vivaldi's Winter as the soundtrack, Olympics is from Greenpeace and calls out how major sporting moments are being used to greenwash environmental destruction. On the nose, yes, a bit maybe, but they sure feel the need to be blunt with what they are fighting for. Consider this, by 2080, half the places that can host Winter Olympics right now won't be able to because no ice. The spot is from the team at Studio Birthplace and Redivider Studio. Iconic. The macOS visual design gets a bit of a slap. Now here, what I linked to is an incredible analysis of the new macOS Tahoe icon system. Me, I haven't upgraded to it yet, so I can't really say how these missteps play out. But Nikita Prokopov, aka Nikki, has thoughts. Many thoughts. Pointed thoughts. Incredulous, frustrated, annoyed, disbelieving thoughts. He says, it's bad. But why exactly is it so bad? If you like geeking into visual communication, this is for you. If you enjoy creative nitpicking, this is definitely for you. If you like well laid out critique with a pinch of humor, this is for you. If you want to see how something that you interact with every day is messed up, this is for you. And if you want a glimpse into how the little things mean more than just a little, this is for you. If none of those matter and the interfaces we interact with daily are of no consequence to you, then yes, please move on. Nothing to see here. DeepCon. News of AI deepfakes or disinformation is steadily becoming the kind of occurrence we skim past in the newsfeed. What's more insidious, though, is how we might well skim past or engage with these deepfakes, increasingly oblivious to the fact that we are indeed being conned. With our daily lives rushing by, such constructs often stay theoretical or mock ups, till meaningful examples pop up with the ability to showcase the real potential. Recently, this happened with a well-known newscaster, a semi-political figure, and a political tinderbox. Yalda Hakim, formerly BBC and now Sky News, Alima Khan, sister of jailed former Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan. India, Pakistan. Oh, what a combination. Now, Hakim spoke with the sister about her brother's imprisonment, and soon a clip from the interview went viral, especially on Indian feeds. In it, Alima Khan boldly characterizes the army chief Asim Munir as a radicalized Islamist who yearns for a war with India. Except she said nothing of the sort. The question about the war and the incendiary response both were deepfakes. Not only was this clip shared millions of times, it even prompted the defense minister of Pakistan to respond to Alima Khan. Once Yalda Hakim saw it, her attempts at clarifying the reality with statements or tweets continued to be drowned out as this took on a life of its own on social and mainstream media. So no, it's not all harmless remixes of us dancing with friends or looking like Disney characters. Behind the cute, fun, impressive, and flashy generative AI, meaningful harm sneaks in through a back door that we continue to leave open. And finally, quick hits. A group of music publishers has filed a second lawsuit against Anthropic, compared to the first that claimed copyright infringement on about 500 songs. This alleges infringement of over 20,000 tracks and is seeking $3 billion in damages. OpenAI's Sora app, after a flashy start in October, is now struggling. Data suggests the app is seeing declines in both app downloads and consumer spending. And 2 weeks ago, I wrote about the NBA's European ambitions. Here's Callum McCarthy with some words of advice for NBA boss Adam Silver. That's it for this week. If you enjoy reading the Color Bar, maybe get me a coffee and help fuel the next one. It's linked in the newsletter, or support by sharing and forwarding pieces you like with others who might enjoy it. Ping me, please, with any feedback, any recommendations to feature, or ideas to collaborate. I work with individuals and teams on creativity, content, and brand strategy. Subscribe for weekly dispatches like this and follow Abhishek Rao on LinkedIn or Instagram. If you prefer to get the color bar in your inbox, head over to Substack.